top 8, but it also shows you're going to be tough further emphasis. I'll go and Rockford cushions early on in the season, but it's going to take some work, and it's all got to start right now, and that's why you can say, of course, it is early, but there's go. But points are points, whether you get them here or you get them later, and these are games the Monsters would certainly like to pick up a couple against here in Rockford, or here against Chicago, and then in Rockford on Sunday.
Absolutely. Doug Plagens joining us, voice of the Lake Erie Monsters. We're talking some Monsters hockey here as they've got Chicago, 2 of them in a row here on Wednesday and Friday. Puck drops on Wednesday at 7. On Friday, it's 7:30 puck drop, I believe. And Doug, I did want to ask you, first off, by the way, on the way out the door, how are you enjoying your Xbox experience thus far?
Liking it a lot. I'm not going to lie, I haven't had as much time to play it as I would have liked to, but I was playing some NHL online last night. Really liking that. Although I've got to get used to a couple of things. A little different from the 360 version. So a couple of things I've got to get used to in that game. Sunset Overdrive is so cool, and I'm not even usually a non-sports game guy, but that game's awesome. And then still just getting acquainted with the new wrestling game.
Brother, let me tell you. A friend of mine, you want to talk about going to the next level with these graphics? I was blown away. I helped a friend of mine move over the weekend, and he decided since he's moving that he was going to get himself a new television. He goes, bro, you got to see the new TV. He went and picked up one of those 4K deals, which is the next gen of TVs beyond. Oh, the
concave ones that kind of look like the new Humongotron here at the Q.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's not curved though. It's just it's 4K. It's
okay. I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
It's amazing. It's actually, you know how the regular TVs are like 1080. This thing's like 27 something. It's a whole nother level of HD. He popped this thing on, and we threw in that Far Cry, that hunting game or whatever it is, it's one of those real world type things. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he was riding an elephant, and you could count the individual hairs off the top of his head, and then you pull up the basketball game, and you literally watch this. You don't just see sweat; you watch it run down their faces. And you're just going, this isn't right. This is some alien stuff here. We're in another universe, but it was a whole nother level. And I was just like, wow. Like, we think just the system alone, but dude, the television, it's amazing. They can literally put you in the window, man. And what's come with the graphics. The graphics going the way they are now is the arcade experience that we may have grown up with on the Nintendo and the Genesis and things like that. That arcade experience is gone. It's real. It's a realistic simulation now with this stuff. It is. It is. It is because the teams use it. People joke about me saying, hey, I play Madden, I play NBA or NHL. These teams will tell you they use that. They don't build their game plans around it, but they'll test game calls. They'll test different things out because the artificial intelligence level is very high on these, and there are some real-world applications that you can get. Military people use the military-branded games to do operations experience as well, because you don't risk anybody's life to do it. It's amazing the level of simulation that they can get. Just absolutely amazing. And real quick, because you're a wrestling guy, I'm going to drop this on you if you didn't yet. I'm just going to recommend on your road trip here that you pull up the network. I don't know if you saw Vince McMahon last night and Stone Cold, but it was probably the most valuable thing they've put on that network since they invented it. And if you want to get your $9.99 worth, go watch the interview, because it was actually very good.
I have the network. I didn't see it last night though.
It was
but
good.
if you could give me just like a snippet on that, like a 1-sentence snippet of what I can expect when I watch it. What kind of thing? What am I watching for?
Oh, I mean, Vince he's very charismatic, of course, and Austin wasn't afraid to get confrontational. They didn't get crazy confrontational because Stone Cold likes to get paid, so he wasn't stupid. He wasn't. It would be like if you and Dan Gilbert sat down and Dan said, "Go ahead and ask me what you want." You may ask what you want, but you're also mindful that you enjoy your employment at the same time. So you know, it was one of those, but it was engaging at times. Really, what was cool, if you're a wrestling person, not a fan necessarily, but you know the inner workings of things, is to listen to how bad he buried half of his roster and didn't even realize he was doing it. Like literally, Stone Cold said, "Hey, I love that cat Cesaro, man. What do you think of him?" And Vince spent 5 minutes telling you all the reasons that Cesaro cannot get over and how they can't figure out how to get him over. And it's just, I'm going, wow. When Vince watches back to this, he's going to realize that he just buried. He said nobody on the current roster is reaching for the brass ring. There's no competitive Stone Cold types on the current roster. I'm like, wow, bury them all. But other than that, there were also some
that's not good for business.
It was interesting for business if you're looking for just something to watch. But and they buried TNA left and right. Like Stone Cold kept saying, well, you don't have any competition. There's TNA, but they're not real competition. So, and I'm like, wow, it was funny because I
love the WWE, and you and I we both watch, and as fans, it's natural for us to think of things that we would like to see happen. And I don't know, just going off the one thing you said, I think Cesaro could be unbelievable. But
I've wrestled Claudio. Let me tell you something. I call him Claudio because that's what he used to be before he went to WWE. His name was Claudio Castagnoli, and I've worked with Claudio before. That's my buddy, man, and he is a physical specimen that you wouldn't even believe. What you see him do on TV is nothing compared to what he can actually do in real life. He can deadlift large men and throw them around without cooperation. Let me tell you, he is. But he's a great guy.
He is unbelievably strong. You can tell just by watching him.
With Chicago coming up at the Q Wednesday and Friday, we'll preview those later in the week. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break when we. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Doug can say goodbye for himself. I was going to wrap it, but he's right back. I was just going to say goodbye for you, but you called right back. Doug Plagens back with us here. But I'm with you there about Cesaro. They missed the boat big time on him, man, and it's too late now. You can't. I think once the gig is up on pushing somebody, you can't really go backwards. But maybe they will. But when you listen to how they talked about him last night, you'll go, "That's why he's not over," because that's how they. The best thing about it is you got an idea for how they look at themselves, and you go, "Oh, they live in a different world than the rest of us do." Just the way they view themselves, you go, "Man, I don't see it that way." But then you start to understand why guys are slotted the way they are, because you go, "Oh, that's how they look at that guy. That's how they look at that situation." It's interesting if you want a glimpse inside the mind of what they do, And for somebody,
how long was it? That's my last question about it.
About an hour, almost an hour and a half.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they went for a while. And it was pretty funny because they were wrapping it up, and it's like, dude, you own this thing. What do you mean you have to go? What, are you going to cut it off so you can go to one of these prepackaged programs that anybody can watch at any time? So they kept it going for a while. But it was interesting. I'm giving them way more publicity than I intended to, but it was interesting. I was just going to tell you, it was one of the few things they put on where you go, well, hell, that was actually worth having this thing. And if they put more of that stuff on there, they'll sell some buys. I'll tell you this, my feed cut in and out all night long because of all the traffic they were getting. My feed never cuts out during anything on that network, and it cut out all night long, which lets you know the bandwidth was high, the usage was high.
Well, I'm going to have to go check it out. I feel like I'm starting to lose you again. So I'm gonna say thanks for having me on, and how about that? Somebody out there didn't want us talking wrestling because they cut the connection right off.
That's what it is, man. Don't make me body slam somebody, man. All right, Doug Plagens, you have a good one. A couple with Chicago this week. We'll talk about it on Tuesday.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon.
You got it. My man, Doug Plagens. As you know, I very, very rarely do I venture off into the world of wrestling. So if I ran you off in the last 8 minutes, sorry. It's what I also happen to have done for a living for the last 16 years. So I'm not really sorry. But anyways, if that's not your cup of tea, thanks for sitting through it for a few minutes. Thanks for listening as well to Doug Plagens. He joins us every week here, Monsters fans. And you never know. We may talk video games. We may talk wrestling. We may talk occasionally some Monsters hockey as well. Don't go anywhere. Final segment of the Sports Fix coming your way. Cavaliers. There's some good basketball games tonight. Cavs are playing, and there's a really good college hoops game tonight with the Buckeyes and the Cardinals. We'll talk about it, set the stage for tomorrow and more. Don't go anywhere. Still more Sports Fix left to go.
there's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Throwing you the best sports commentary in town. The Sports Fix.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. Real time spent making real decisions, creating real victory.
I'm the greatest man in the world!
And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize. I mean, a really real prize.
Yeah.
Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs.
The trophy's 12 feet high, and it is glorious!
Football, baseball, hoops, you name it, they have it. Plus, they have awesome draft kits and party supplies to make all your preseason activities the envy of everyone. If your league needs a ring, belt, or trophy, or you want to upgrade what you already have, there's literally only one place to go. If you're going to be a fantasy jock, do it right.
It's mine, the most magnificent belt ever created, and it's mine.
With America's fantasy sports superstore, fantasyjocks.com.
What's your fantasy?
No football? No problem at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. The excitement never stops. Every day of the week brings a different set of food and amazing drink specials.
And now,
fans, Harry Buffalo North Olmsted is the home for every UFC pay-per-view live on the big screens.
let's get it all!
And let's not forget their mouth-watering trademark, the Bison Burger.
They sure are good.
Nobody does bison like Harry Buffalo. The perfect combination of healthy and delicious.
Hey there, eat up, y'all. You's as good church-going folk. Y'all deserve a little treat.
What are you waiting for? Get to Harry Buffalo, just outside Great Northern Mall today. Harry Buffalo. Join the herd.
Hey, this is Alonzo G. You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, final segment of the show across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you guys, rolling on. Thanks to Doug Plagens, the voice of the Lake Erie Monsters. Thanks to everybody who's been with us today. Kicked it off with Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com. Talked to Dr. Football, Bill Checkis, and Doug Plagens from the Monsters. Talk to you guys all show long. Man, you guys really, you blow it up on the social media, on the messaging, on all of that. Keep it coming because, as I say all the time, seriously, this is our show, this is your show, and you are the lifeblood of this thing. Hit us up, Facebook, Twitter, 24/7, not just live. Keep that conversation going. Facebook.com/thesportsfix. Make sure you like the show while you're there as well. And follow us on Twitter @thesportsfixCLE. You can always email us as well.